Hey guys, welcome to the PHP 101 screencast with me, Phil from BHSO Web Design. I think this is screencast number 5. Let me just double check that one. I believe so. Let me have a look. Videos. Yeah, screencast number 5. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm kind of in a way following on from a previous screencast where I showed you how to input data into a MySQL database using PHP. Well, in this one I'm going to show you how to get the information out. I'm going to do this in two ways. One's going to be specific information to do with a certain record, but also using the loop or while function, just so you can list out everything. It'll all make sense in a moment. So I'm going to use the same data as I had in there previously. If you remember, I've got the database here using PHP MyAdmin, and in here I've got two records, one of a John Smith and one that's me. Right, now somewhere you may want to list this information is, say you've got a website, you have members, you may want to list out, I don't know, everyone's email addresses or everyone's names, just so you know who is members. Okay, so as usual, I've got my folder here running on my local server. I've got an index.php file and a CSS file just to make it look a little prettier. Okay, now if I go to this PHP file at the moment, which I'll do now, you'll see here all I've put in is just says please show the data. Okay, and what's making that is, if I open it, Sublime Text, which admittedly I still have not yet paid for. I will do, I promise. You can see there's not much to it. Hang on a minute, let me just shrink the size of this screen down. As you can tell, I normally work with a much bigger desktop. I just shrink it for file size reasons. So as you see, it's just basically some straightforward HTML at the moment, linked to a style sheet inside a PHP file. So what we're going to need to do, well, we're going to need to connect to the database, as well as then query the database and then show the information. So let's do the connection first. Okay, now you may remember this from the previous screencast, you may not. Let's just open our PHP tags and then close them again there. Then set all the information to do with your database. So string host helps if I type properly. It's a local host. Okay. Oh dear, pressed the wrong button then. String db user. I think I'm under root. Yeah, that seems to ring bells. String db password, and because it's local host, it's just simple of password, and then string database name, in which this case it is Screencast, I believe. Let me just check on that. Yes, it is Screencast. So now we've got all the information to do with the database specifically. Now it's time to do the actual login on and accessing the database. I'm going to do the same as I think I did before, which is put most of it in a string, because then I can call back and cheat a little bit. Okay, so string con MySQL underscore connect string host, string db user, string db password. Alright, so we've got that now, and let's just do our fallback, which is always useful to have in case the connection fails for some reason. So we'll go if does not connect. So if the connection's not made to the database, then die. Right. Could not connect. MySQL _error. Now this will allow it to output an error to you, which helps you figure out what's going wrong. Okay. But then of course if we've made the connection, then we've got to select database, which we'll do as MySQL select DB, and then give it the name. So we now have our connection. Okay, then what's good practice is at the end of my script I'm going to just close the connection. It's always good practice to get into. Stops your server getting overloaded with you constantly having open connections. I mean, the connection does go away when you close the page or someone navigates away from it, but still it's just always good practice. So let's save that, and tell you what, let's refresh it now because we'll know if it's connecting or not. No errors. Great, so it is. Right, that's the easy bit. Now for the getting the information. So if you remember, under Screencast, which is the database, we have a table which is users, and in the users we set titles, IDs, table names. I can't remember the exact word for it right now, for all the information in there. So this is under ID, first name, last name, etc, etc, etc. So say we want to get hold of John Smith's details. How would you go about doing that? Well, we'd have to make a query, and the query would be like this. So open a PHP tag, close it again, then string SQL. Remember, when you're making the MySQL commands, it has to be in capitals. So it'd be select star from users. Now, because we want to select only John Smith's information, we need to put in a variable in this, which would be where ID equals. Now, to explain what I'm saying here, I'm telling MySQL that I want it to select all information from users where ID, now this ID is this line here, equals and an amount. Well, the amount in this case, because we want John Smith's information, is number 1. So where ID equals 1. This doesn't have to be a number, it could be anything. It could be specific email address, password, anything. As long as it exists, it'll be able to select that information. So now we need to make the query happen, because this is just a string. This is just a straightforward PHP string that holding this information. we need to actually tell the script now, okay, talk to the database. So I'm going to put it as string query, and then go mySQL underscore query, and in this case just put string SQL. That's now telling the script, take this and ask the MySQL database this question. Okay, that's what this is doing. It's saying ask the database this question here. Do you have this information? If you do, let me know. Okay. Reason now this would work just by putting the MySQL underscore query like that. The reason I've put it in a string here is because I want to be able to pull individual pieces of information out. Okay, and the way I want to do that is using a function known as MySQL fetch association. I think that's what it's meant. I think that's what it stands for. Now, the way you can do that is, and I've just gone weird for some reason. I'll go string row MySQL underscore fetch association. It may not mean association, but that's how I always remember it. And then inside the brackets I'm going to say string query. So now what we're doing is, let's just start from the beginning. Here we're making the connection to the database. Okay, then here we're posing a question. In this case, go to users where ID number 1 equals number 1. You know, select all the information, go through, find it. Here we're actually telling the script to ask this question we have posed here to the MySQL. This will come back either as a 1 or 0, or just error out. I can't remember 100% off the top of my head. Now this string row bit here, what this is saying is, right, you've got this information, okay, pull everything you have on that line. So all this information here on this line is pulling under these titles. It's associating these titles with this information. Okay, this is so we can call it back and display whatever we want. Now the way we can then display it is ridiculously simple. So let's say we want to display the first name. Okay, way we do that is open the tags again, then we'll go echo string row square brackets with single quotation marks inside, and then we'll just type in first name like so. And now we've said to it, what is the first name? Please let me know. I just realised I've pressed something on my keyboard, and I can't know which it is, but it's making this go really weird now. Might be that. No, it's not that one. Oh dear. There we go. Press the insert key, so it's writing over everything that I've written on previously, which is a bit silly of me. And I'm going to close that plea tag there. Right, so if I save that and refresh this page, you'll see now it's pulling up that name. And tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick it in H1 tags so it's a bit easier to see. There's it. Here we go. So H1. Yes, I know, I've got to pay for it. There we go. It's pulling out the name. It's going via this question, all this bit here, from these 3 lines, we've been able to tell it, the script or the page, to go to the database on this table, find this line here, which I'll just tick so it stays orange or green when I put mouse over it. Find this line here by this ID number here. Now this ID number obviously would increase every time for everyone who joins. Then I'm saying to it, okay, what is under this title in the database on that line? Well, under this title here, first name is John, and we've told it to echo it out, so therefore it displays John. Now if I want to display the last name, all I need to do is just change that to last name. Save that again, refresh the page, and it's come out with the last name. And that is how you can pull out information from the database. Now we could, if you wanted, have multiple of these, so string row, I'll save that, refresh this page, and there we go. It's come out with both the first name and the last name. It's put them together because I haven't put a space in between, but it's pulling the information from both these titles on this line and displaying it. If I wanted to pull out the next line, then all I need to do is go into the script where it says here ID equals 1, change that to 2, save it, refresh the page, and there we go, it's come up with it. Now that is how you can pull out individual pieces of information from your database. Say you wanted to list everything though, okay, every member you may have. You may have 5 members, you may have thousands of members, okay. If you wanted to list them, you can. And the way you do that is you'd use a specific style of query, which is a while query. Bear with me here. So what I'm going to do is just alter this slightly, just so the names display a bit better. Put a break line in there. Oh no, actually I don't need a break line because it's H1 tag, so it will reset a new line every time. Right. If I wanted to do this, if I wanted to display everyone, right, I almost got a train of thought there. What I'll do is get rid of this bit here, this stipulation, this variable here, the where ID equals 2, bye bye. Leave it just to select star from users, okay. Now what we'll do is I'll put it in here. Here we go. Here I'll now type in while. Now while is a different form of the if statement. Now I think I've done a screencast on if and else. I might be wrong, but I think I did one. So you set it out just like you would with an if statement, okay. Now if I go to here, I'm just typing this out, but then I'll talk you through it in just one moment. Right, what we're saying to it is, here's the question. Now this while statement is basically a way of looping this question over and over and over, so it constantly gets asked. So what I'm saying to it is, whilst you have an answer for this, so it'll ask the question, it'll go, oh, I've got information, puts it in. It then goes, okay, have you got any more on any of the rows? Oh yeah, I have. Okay, it keeps going. The minute it runs out, it knows it's done, it's finished, bye bye, that's it. It loops over and over whilst information exists. So it'll keep constantly asking this question while it's getting fresh new information. It will keep running whatever's inside these braces here. Okay, and in this case what we're doing is saying, well, while you got an answer to it, quickly give me all the information separately in its titles, and then I'm telling it display everything that you have. So what should happen now if I save this? Fingers crossed, I'll probably cock this up. And I appear to have cocked it up slightly. Yes, I have. Right, why is this going messed up? It's looping, it's doing something. Have I put the while on the wrong bit? Do you know what? I might have. Sorry, I've had a long ass day at work today. Because I mean, as much as I want web design to be my only job, unfortunately it's not at the moment. But here we go. Hopefully this should work. I think I put it on the wrong bit. So let's save that. I'll stop and refresh. There we go. Please bear with me. I have cocked it up. Right. The question, we want to do the loop on the MySQL fetch association. So we'll just let it ask the question once. Right. Because what happens is, oh yeah, it keeps asking the question here anyway. So this will keep running every time. This remembers the information that's already been sent to it. It goes, already got that. Have you got any more? Yeah, give me that. Have you got that? Yeah. Any more? No. Right, done, finished. And then what it's doing is it's listing all the information that exists. So that is a way of listing everything by using a loop, and that loop is the while function. And that is how you can pull out information from the database. I'm sorry if this screencast has bored you, if you've been a bit annoyed with me cocking it up, but some days are like that, unfortunately. But yeah, there we go, it is done. So now that is how, now I've shown you how to pull information out of a database. Right, one other thing you can do, if I just delete this bits out again, excuse the noise outside, but unfortunately I live in a slightly odd area where people have just decided to be noisy. Right, and then I'll go back to here. One thing you can do is, if I go back to that where with the ID equals, and I put a string instead, string ID. Now what I can do is, let's put it in here, why not? If I go string ID string underscore get ID. Now what this will allow me to do is set the ID in the address bar that I want the information for, and it will pull it down. Now at the moment it's coming up with this error. That's because I haven't told it what I want. So in the address bar, question mark ID equals 1, and there we go. It's pulled down information for John Smith. Change it to ID number 2. It's pulled down my information. That's because if you've seen the previous screencasts that I've done, we're using a super global of get to get the ID number from the address bar, we're then putting that into a string of string ID. We are then putting that into the question just here. So we're saying select star from users where ID equals, in this case, number 2. So that ID is actually a number 2. Makes sense, hopefully. And then we're running the question and pulling information out and inserting it onto the page. So that's it for this screencast. I'm sorry if it's been a bit shit, but yeah, I've said I've had one of those days. In the meantime, check out my site, phpwebdesign.com, where you'll find the videos of my previous screencasts. So I hope, which are just a bit better than the one I've just done. Also, you should find some code snippets and things like that in my blog, and other bits of information. Also a list of tools that I use with links and where you can get them from, so things like WAMP server, Sublime Text 2, SAS and Compass, 2 absolutely cracking pieces of software, or development environment should I say, that I highly suggest you do check out. Okay, SAS and Compass, check it out, get to know it, give it a go. It's all good. If you want to contact me and tell me how crap this video was, or anything you may want to know, just use my simple contact form here, let me know, and I will see what I can do. But until the next time, hopefully the next time's a lot better. But be kind to everyone, and see you soon.